Did you know that some of the cleanest TIG welding that I've seen was actually some of the weakest? And with TIG welding, it's one of the most common traps out there. You can see here I am welding a fillet joint. I'm running along getting a good amount of filler into the material, but there are some problems that are happening here that you might not realize. Taking a look at what's going on here, can you see it? When I'm done after the piece cools down, I'm gonna do something that's known as a fillet break test. What you wanna do is you wanna take some of the material of the welding area down. You can see here I'm doing it with my bandsaw. This is an easy way of doing it. You can also do it with some kind of a blade of some kind if you have access to one. Basically, you're just gonna cut a score line along the welding pass, and then the two pieces can then be bent over and pressed together or hammered to the point where it breaks. At that point, what you can do is take a look at the two pieces on the inside and you can check for penetration. Are you ready for it here? And taking a look here, unfortunately, we do not see any of it. So for sure, in real world situation, this would be an immediate fail. And it's too bad because this one actually looked pretty good. As a matter of fact, some people might even throw this on Instagram and a lot of people wouldn't think twice about it. But unfortunately, taking a look at the break test here, we can see that the majority of the welding was pretty much just sitting on the surface of the joint. We can see that there's no penetration down into the base material. Boo! Essentially, this one was just appearance versus actual structural strength. Now, as much as I love Instagram, as well as anybody else out there, I do feel like social media has done a pretty terrible job of creating context with welding. So many things that we see online might look great on Instagram, but might fail catastrophically in real life. A lot of the time, beginners will even stress out that their stuff doesn't look that good, just because everything they see online looks so great all the time. And to be honest, this is kind of a message that I feel like more people need to hear. While everybody's looking for the perfect looking weld, lack of penetration is very common. There are a lot of details around this that cause a lot of people to fail when it comes testing time for a lot of these joints. When somebody is welding, it's very common sometimes if things are not done well, or if the focus of the heat does not get all the way down into the joint. And a lot of the time, even contamination or preparation, tacking the joint together before you actually weld it, can cause you to fail the test before you even arc up on it. Yes, of course, we want things to look good, but we also want to make sure we check all the boxes for a clean, strong, sound weld. So if good looking welds can still fail, how do you actually get good and full penetration? The first thing when I'm teaching my students to learn how to TIG weld is something called arc focus. This basically means how to keep the heat focused strategically into the joint with good accuracy, exactly where you want. And this is more important than the settings that you program into your machine. That's right, hot take, I said it. This is what is actually gonna sink your heat into the joint and actually get you proper penetration or fusion, combined with good settings on your machine, good filler material. This is what really helps to get you a good sound weld so you can pass tests. Something else, like I mentioned this just a couple minutes ago here, that a lot of people miss is the joint preparation. This needs to happen perfectly and strategically before any welding is done. I know a lot of people hear this and they say, yeah, I got it. But for real, I've seen joints put together that I can pretty much guarantee are gonna fail before the person even starts welding on it. Peep this. Typically, with any plate I am doing, I'm gonna completely file and then deburr the edges. Yeah, I know, it's pretty extreme, but check it out. After that's done, we have no rag or any rough stuff on the edge, and then I can properly decontaminate knowing that I got everything out of there that possibly could trip me up. I always use acetone to clean my stuff. It's popular with all the testing centers that I've been through. I'm gonna wipe down everything a few times before I'm done here. I also wanna make sure that the fit up of the joint is perfect, of course. If there's anything about your joint that's misaligned or isn't set up equally, you can end up having really inconsistent penetration, or if you have some kind of overlap with your joint fit up, you might not get any penetration at all. And again, even if your settings are perfect and your welding technique and everything that we've talked about is done perfectly, if your alignment and joint preparation is not put together correctly, like I said, you're basically gonna fail the test before you've even started it. Getting proper penetration into the joint that you're welding or testing on is gonna look drastically different depending on what joint or welding exercise you're doing. But essentially, obviously we wanna make sure that we program adequate heat input on our machines. If you are not using enough amperage on your machine, obviously you're not gonna be able to get good fusion into the joint at all. Look at this here, remaining as close as you can with the standoff distance. This is the distance from the tip of your tungsten to the workpiece. I talk about this all the time. What happens is that when you get in nice and close, the arc cone will become more narrow and more focused. We want to make sure that once this is focused, it is pointed straight into the exact area that you need the penetration to occur. And again, this kind of goes for every joint configuration that you might do. One thing I might even consider to get successful chances at getting good penetration is travel travel speed. I obviously recommend that your travel speed is like when you're welding, not be too fast. If somebody's buzzing along with too quick of a travel speed, again, even with perfect settings and perfect technique of what you're doing, the heat input is not going to build up enough to get into the base material the way we want, and fusion is going to be incomplete. Do you know the most important part of your weld where all of this is established? Looking at this here, it shows it is the start. Remember, your welding piece is going to be cooler at the start and it's going to heat up more as you start to travel along. Give yourself a little bit of extra time at the start. Look at this graphic here. You can see the start of each pass, no matter what joint you are doing here. This is where all of your welding details are established. Make sure that you take your time at the start of whatever joint that you're doing while the piece is cool. Get your puddle, all the filler material, everything to blend in. Watch for the edges of your puddle to establish before moving. As your welding piece heats up and you start traveling along, you can travel at more of a normal, moderate speed at this point. Just make sure that you prevent things from overheating when you reach the end of your joint. The idea is that whatever joint you're doing, you get everything absolutely established right at the start. You can see from the back side of this one that the penetration pretty much starts right away at the beginning. This is because I take my time at the start to let things establish. And then you can see as I progress along the length of the joint, the penetration just continues relatively consistent. Now let's compare bad fusion to proper fusion in real welds. Take a look at this outside corner joint being welded here. When it's all done, we can see that things do look pretty good. The cool thing about outside corner joints is they're pretty easy to inspect. Flipping it over though, we can see there is no penetration on the other side. Bummer, dude. The appearance of that one fooled us, man. Even though again, the weld looks pretty good, there's a lack of true fusion into the other side. This can be because like one of the variables that we already talked about is off in some way. The arc focus could have been aimed slightly incorrectly, travel speed could have been too fast, or like I said, the joint could have been aligned a little bit weird or prepared sloppy. Check out the footage of this one here. We can see that the arc focus here is very good. Again, the standoff distance is in nice and close. The arc cone is focused and tight. We can see that the filler material is being added pretty much perfectly while allowing the heat to get down into the base material. Taking this one after the fact, looks pretty good. Okay, we're gonna flip this one over and we can see that this one looks much better with good penetration on the backside. Consistent fusion from beginning to finish, this is exactly what you want. Looking at this butt joint here, check it out. You can see this one is being done with a little bit of thicker material. A lot of the time with thicker material, punching all the way through on this one is going to be difficult with some stuff like this. Sometimes it can be prepared with a groove preparation, or it can even be gouged out on the back side and welded again on the other side to fill this in. And then what we can do is a series of bending tests. This is where the welding will be ground off, and then the bending test strips can be bent around pins or something like this to see if they hold up. But this is one of my favorite ones to do to check out what actually happened on the inside. This is called the nick break test. This is typically done with a butt joint configuration. You can see here that I'm welding on a butt joint configuration that has been prepared as a groove weld. I'm going to completely weld out one side, making sure that I get good and deep into the base material for decent penetration. I'm making sure that the filler material fills up the groove adequately, however not filling it up too much. Too much filler material can actually block penetration. After that's done, you're going to take a look at the other side. You can see this has also been fitted with a groove weld preparation. Sometimes this can also be gouged on the backside after the first pass. There's many ways this test can be performed. But the idea is that you flash up again and do the exact same pass on the other side, completely filling up the plate theoretically for 100% penetration. After the fact, you can take a look. These passes look pretty decent. Everything's filled up because what's going to happen after this point is we're going to cut it into a couple strips. These strips are going to be what we test with the nick break test. I slightly grind back the weld a little bit, although it's not totally necessary, because you can see with the bandsaw here, I'm just cutting little slices or little score marks into the edges of these coupons. It's only about 1/16 of an inch deep, but what's going to happen is you're then going to fix it in a vise or something stable to hold it still. And using a hammer, you're going to hit it and try and break it. In this circumstance here, you can take a look at the inside. We don't see any problems here for the most part. We can see that the penetration has gotten through the complete welding coupon. Sometimes if there's problems with the welding, you can see something like this here. We can see that there's areas of lack of fusion. We can also see there's little pockets of porosity here and there. This test is a great way that you can take a look at the inside of your welding piece to see how you actually did to get all the way through the base material. Looking at this one here, pretty welding can be easy sometimes. You can make it look really good, but the real payoff is when something is done not only well on the surface, but on the inside of the joint as well. You guys, this is the free workbook that I used in this episode. You can download it for free. It's gonna help you out with a lot of these fundamentals that we just talked about here. And be sure you do a random act of kindness for a stranger today. I am Dusty James, Phil and Chill. We'll talk soon. Peace.